Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to this training session, which is called Make 2023 Your Year of Inspiration. I'm Jelena Gacesa, and I'm the Education, Outreach and Safeguarding Lead at the institution. I've been at the IMechE for 4 years now, which seems quite a while. I started in another role, also education focused, and was responsible for leading 4 of our 5 student challenges, and progressed at the end of 2021. I've got to stop saying end of last year now, into this new role, which is fully education focused. A key part of my role is working with our volunteer community, and we have a large cohort of IMechE members that volunteer their time and get involved in education outreach. I think at the last look, it was about 10,000 STEM ambassadors that we have in the UK alone. So a key part of this offering and the work of the institution is to upskill our membership, to signpost opportunities and partnerships, and to make it as easy as possible for our members to pass on their experience, pass on their knowledge, and hopefully inspire young people and inform them about what it is engineers do. This is the first of this year's calendar, 2023, and we will be having 7 online sessions and 2 physical workshops, 1 in London at IMechE headquarters and 1 in Manchester. The venue is yet to be confirmed, but please do keep an eye on it, and we will keep you updated. Now I will pass on to Alex, and thank you. Just to let you know, the recording is the video. Oh my God. The training is being recorded and will be available on the web pages thereafter, should you want to revisit any of the material or pass it on to anybody else. Thank you very much.
Super. Thanks, Jelena. Right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us in your evening or whatever time zone you're in, if you're dialing in from another country. It's fabulous to have you to kick off this series of IMechE STEM Ambassador Training. We are going to basically do an introduction around the benefits and get you to meet some of the IMechE regional education officers to talk about the kind of stuff, amazing stuff you can get involved with as a STEM ambassador involved with the IMechE, and how you can actually get involved so you can make this your year of inspiration. So I'm going to share my screen so that hopefully you can see my slides, and we will get started. Super. Okay. All right. Yes. So just a quick intro to me for those of you that don't know me. I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm a fellow of the IMechE, and I really love getting involved in IMechE events like this. I also founded a not-for-profit called STEMAZING, which is all about empowerment and inspiration and inclusion in STEM. So I do a lot of work outside of the stuff that I do with the IMechE as well, but also very much involved with the IMechE around STEM outreach and inspiration, hence being asked to facilitate this session. We got a whole series of training sessions for you, and we have done more in the past. So those recordings are available if you want to go and check them out for lots of hints and tips around how you can build your confidence and your toolbox as a STEM ambassador. And we're also really fortunate, as I said, to have a couple of the REOs with us tonight so that you've got that more local sort of touch point, depending on where you're based in the UK or beyond. But so we've got some of the REOs as well. And I'd love the REOs to do a quick intro to themselves, if that's okay. So can I come to Alex first? The other Alex, let's have the 2 Alexes first. Alex Bond, do you mind just doing a quick intro to yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Alex Bond. I'm the Regional Education Officer for Thamesway Region.
Thank you so much. Let's go to Khosru next. I know, Khosru, you don't have your video on you, but if you can unmute and just do a voice intro.
Oh, hi, everyone. Sorry about the video. I'm speaking from the university and I don't have a video like this. at this station. Yeah, so I'm the regional officer for the Southeast region, and I'm also committee chairman for the Kent area. And I work in the aerospace industry, which I've been working for many, many years now. And I also teach at the University of Greenwich, which is where I am at the moment. As part of the committee, together with my colleagues within the committee, we do a lot of STEM activities, which I'll talk about some of those activities that we've done. So that's really me.
Thank you so much, Khosrow. Can we come to Ron next?
Hi, my name's Ron Faulkner. I'm the Regional Education Officer for Merseyside and North Wales, and I have a long life interest in developing young people.
Fabulous. Thank you, Ron. And last but not least, John Butler.
Yes, John Butler. I'm a Regional Education Officer for Midland Region, as well as doing many other things with the institution.
Fantastic. Thank you, John. All right. So we have got a whole suite of training workshops lined up to go this year. So we're kind of building on what we did last year and taking that a step further. And you can see the whole list of them here. So we're on the 28th of Feb at the moment with our first one. But if you want to take a screenshot of this or a picture of this, maybe as a reminder of the dates that are coming up, where we're covering all sorts of things, from actually hearing from teachers to get teachers' top tips on what they feel is really effective STEM engagement and outreach, through to, different kind of advice that you can provide young people that you're speaking to about routes into engineering. We're talking about inclusion. We're talking about what kind of STEM outreach there is beyond the classroom. And I know we'll touch on some of that tonight as well. And we're also going to weave in there some practical activities that hopefully you can join in with and practice, so that you get more confident and comfortable with running hands-on practical activities with young people at primary school, secondary school, university level, whatever it is, because we know that really engaging the young people and young adults is what we want to do to get them really motivated and fired up about engineering. So lots of cool stuff, most of it online, but like Jelena said, we've got 2 in-person workshops as well. So make sure you get yourself signed up for those, because they're going to be really, really good. All right, but on to tonight, what we're going to cover. So first of all, the benefits of being a STEM ambassador, what they do, hear from our amazing REOs. I'd also love for people in the audience here to share your experiences. So what have you been involved with? What has worked well for you? Share those stories so we can learn from each other as well. And of course, how you can get involved. But before we start that, I'm going to do a quick poll of the audience, because I would love to kind of get an understanding of who we've got in the room here. So if you go to slido.com on your phone or on a different tab on your internet browser, and put in the code 3013396, then just to get a feel for who's in the room. So are you already a registered STEM ambassador? Or are you not yet? So you're planning on becoming but haven't quite done it yet, or don't know. So let's see who we've got in the room, what kind of split we've got there. Okay, so majority are already STEM ambassadors. Some people are not, and some people are not yet. So almost thinking about signing up, which is great. Okay, so quite a mix there. Oh, okay, so we've got a few people who are on the cusp of becoming STEM ambassadors. This is what we like. Hopefully we can persuade you to sign up and become a STEM ambassador at the end of today. All right, fabulous. Okay, thank you so much for that. So that's very interesting to see. So roughly about 50-50 yes and not yet, and a few no's in the room. All right, okay, that's very helpful, thank you. And I have another question for you, which is actually a word cloud, just to get you thinking about, why is this so important? Why is STEM outreach so important? Why is it important that us as the mechanical engineering community gets out there and we go and tell people about what it is that we do and what engineering is. So if you just put in a couple of keywords, hopefully they will come up on the screen and we'll be able to see collectively what you think. Okay, yes, amazing, thank you. So representation, you can't be what you can't see. I completely agree. Talent, so yeah, encouraging that future talent pipeline to get into engineering. Absolutely. Awareness, yeah, not enough people are aware of what engineers do. Completely agree, there's lots of misperceptions out there. We need more engineers for solving our global challenges. Completely agree. Improve diversity, yes, yeah. Knowledge, encouraging future pipeline. This is brilliant, thank you so much. Early engagement, yes, that's fantastic. I completely agree. We need to get in early and sow those seeds of inspiration about STEM and engineering as early as possible. Thank you. Oh, loads of fantastic words coming up here. Positive outlook, yeah, absolutely. Representation coming up as the key one. So like, these are real life engineers, this is what you can do. And infuse them, yes, wow, thank you so much. Loads of great words in there, love that, absolutely love that, that's great. All right, and I want to get onto this discussion to sort of kick us off, because I think when you fully tap into the benefits for you, for us as the individuals, as well as obviously the things around giving back and inspiring and infusing and representing and all those things you put in the previous word cloud, they're really important. But if we can tap into that giving back piece as well as the benefits for us, then it makes it an absolute no-brainer, and the kind of the other challenges and barriers around time and, you know, effort kind of are reduced because we really see the benefits. So let's see what you think about these benefits. So soft skills development, absolutely. Building your confidence, yes, absolutely. Building local relationships, yes, thank you. Having fun, yes, love it. Confidence, yeah, fulfilling, making a difference, gaining knowledge, great experience for your CV. I don't know if it's come up here yet. Chartership has come up. Yeah, I was going to say, so linked to your sort of personal and professional development, it really helps you with your chartership application and fellowship as well, actually, if you are getting involved in STEM outreach. Oh, loads of stuff on here, amazing. Leaving a legacy, yeah, absolutely. Communication skills, yeah, completely. Thank you so much. Loads and loads of great stuff on there. That's absolutely right. So I'm just going to stop the poll for a second there, and go on to the next slide. Ooh, don't know why there's a line in there. So the benefits, yes, these are some of the things that I've put in, which I think pretty much covers what you were saying in that word cloud. Growing confidence. I have seen, well, from my own experience of being a very shy person and absolutely terrified of speaking in front of people, and doing STEM outreach and forcing myself really to get into those situations where I had to communicate, I had to do live public engagement, live presentations. It really, really helped me develop my skills. And in my early career, that was absolutely critical, really helped me improve at work as well, because I brought those skills and that practice into my day job. So being able to grow your confidence in a safe space, really, and growing your skills around presentation and communication is really, really fantastic. Okay. Building local community relationships, we've said that. Giving back, making a difference. Falling in love with STEM, again, I've heard this from quite a few people, that they inspire themselves when they go and inspire others. So it brings that inspiration back into your life again. Sense of personal achievement, really supporting your chartership and your fellowship applications, and also benefiting your company with things like NPDS, staff satisfaction, PR, CSR. So it's so many benefits for you, for your company, for your community. and obviously for the next generation. So it's pretty much a no-brainer. So hopefully we are encouraging the people who are not yet signed up as STEM ambassadors to pursue that, and we'll tell you exactly how you can do that at the end of this session. Well, what I want to do is, see what, can I just ask, can you see the scribbles on the screen, or is that just me? So I don't know, honestly, what's happened there, and I wonder if I should end the slide.
They are on the screen, Alex.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure how that's happened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to share again in a sec and see if I can work out. I think it's the whiteboard function maybe, because I don't think it was me doing that, but maybe it was me. So okay, if I so we're going to come on to Alex Bond, who's going to, as the REO for the Thames Way region, is going to tell us about your sort of what you get up to as a STEM ambassador, and what opportunities there are for others. So let me share that again and see if, is that better? Can you see it without the scribbles now?
Yeah, there's no lines this time.
Fabulous. Okay, over to you, Alex.
Yeah. Okay. So as Alex has said, not all STEM ambassador roles are classroom focused, and that's my preferred way of dealing with things. But they are equally rewarding and vitally important to schools and universities. So my roles tend to be associated with the careers events, which, as we've said, is all about explaining what life as an engineer entails, generally on a one-to-one basis with an interested party, and talking them through what you do day to day, providing them with information. And as the IMechE, we've got access to some very good literature to explain what the role is, what the career paths are. And the other thing that I find we have to explain quite a lot is what the different flavors of engineer entail. So whilst we are all IMechE, actually the kids don't necessarily know what the different flavors are and what the jobs that would come out of those different tastes would be. So it's about explaining that and helping them to make decisions. And obviously when parents are involved, it's the career pathways that becomes the most important part, and trying to explain the different routes, what the end goals of each of those routes would be, and what the opportunities and limitations that each of the routes offers, and you know, taking into account the new skills like the T levels is another one that's coming up quite frequently.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to point on that, sorry to interrupt, Alex, but we're going to have a whole session later on how we as STEM ambassadors can advise young people or young adults about how to sort of what their options are and the different routes on getting into engineering. So you're completely right. I think that's a really important point, and so that's why we're going to dedicate like a whole session to talking about that.
And obviously in the space of a career, the routes have quite fundamentally changed. Mm-hmm. And depending on what sort of academic ability the person has at that particular point, some of the non-traditional routes are actually exceedingly good and result in very competent engineers.
Yeah, absolutely.
As I'm going to move on to the other role that I'm heavily involved in, which is governance. Mm-hmm. That's not just at secondary school level, primary school level. I'm also involved in at university level through the industrial advisory boards. Again, what's entailed is very different from a classroom focus. It's much more strategically focused, and brings in a different set of skills. So rather than the communication skills in terms of classroom capability, it's communication skills in terms of financial understanding, legislative compliance, the things that in a different context we as engineers have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and we can bring in some instances a different focus to the school, to the university, and provide that real world experience that is not necessarily there. So I act as chairman of governors to a secondary school, and as I say, I'm on the industrial advisory board at a university. Whilst it is non-classroom focused, you do actually get, even with those roles, you do get to interact with pupils, students. For example, with the university, I get involved in the final year dissertation work, and the students present that, and they treat it as a conference effectively. So the students prepare a poster, and then the industrial advisory board will go and ask questions as you would at a conference, and that is exceedingly rewarding in terms of the students themselves are absolutely phenomenal, many of them. And their ability to put up with frusty old grey hairs like me asking them questions, you know, they really do respond to it, and it's been fantastic fun.
Amazing. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Alex. So yeah, there's lots of things that you've done. I think you've done some stuff through the IMechE and some stuff that you've organised personally, independently, sort of separately. If people in your area, so in the Thamesway area, want to get involved in IMechE STEM outreach, do they contact you personally?
Contact me. The emails on the IMechE near you pages.
Yeah.
Yeah, get in touch and we can talk.
Thank you. Thanks, Alex. That's great. Okay, next I'm going to come to Khosrow. So Khosrow, you are the Southeast region REO, and I think you're going to give us some examples of slightly different options and opportunities that STEM ambassadors can get involved with.
Yes, thank you, Alex. Yeah, so I'm the Southeast region regional education officer. I'm also the area chairman for the Kent Area Committee, and I have done as a area or as a region, we've done a lot of STEM events, and I've also done both IMechE based STEM events as well as personal, because I belong to a particular community, ethnic community, so I do get asked within my community to do various activities. So the one on the top right, you're seeing, this was I was asked to do an event at a educational weekend educational center in London. So one of the sessions that STEM events that I do is get these children to make a bridge, and this really, I think, works quite well, especially in a group environment, because I have there's a competition element to the task, and basically the challenge is, how do you make something flexible, such as a thin card? How do you make that, how do you make that stiff enough to support a 1 or 2 kilogram mass? So I've done this event a number of times now. I was asked to do the STEM event at the Ruton School in Kent near Sevenoaks. Mm-hmm. So that's the one picture on the bottom right. Right. And I also, I've done the IMechE STEM Kits events as well. But I'm not the only one who's doing STEM events. And within my area committee, we have other members. Steve Smith, for example. If you could just go to the next slide, Alex. Mm-hmm. So Steve Smith, who's also part of our committee, so he's also been involved with various organizations and STEM events throughout the region. So, for example, the Green Power Gobbling Go-Kart. So he's been involved with that with Year 6 students from 20 schools. He's also been out to the Cookham Wood and did a STEM hub and youth sort of construction activity. So as a region or area, we do get involved in the wide range of STEM activities. The one thing we used to do quite often before, but we haven't quite got to, is going out to schools and giving talks. So that's something that we're planning to start again. We haven't done that for quite a while now. So in addition to the STEM activities, because I'm also I don't know if you, can you go to the next slide, Alex?
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm also the IMechE mentor at BAE Systems, where I have a number of graduate engineers that I look after on the scheme. So I try always engage with those graduates and try and get them to do well, engage them with the IMechE. So one event that I did have with a number of those engineers is I took them out to, I don't know if anyone knows, there's a model railway bridge. So Guildford Model Railway Society. So I took the 3 of my engineers from BAE Systems who are on the MPDS scheme to do vibration response measurements. So we took all our BAE kit and gear and get them to have a real hands-on experience in doing vibration measurements. And it was yesterday that I got one of those graduates, Fred, his name is, to actually present at the IMechE event last night. So he presented. So this really will go down well for his CPD as well as for his CEng. So yeah. So in addition to all of these STEM activities, we try and have a range of activities and events. But my main focus is really getting the younger engineers more involved with the IMechE, and I find that it works if you give them, like for example, this railway bridge has nothing to do with work, but it's something that I organize outside of work with the Model Engineering Society, and all the some of the graduates are really keen. Yes, and that looks really exciting. Also, they got a free ride on the trains all day. So that worked really well. So it's not just about STEM, it's finding also some other activities which you can help to get younger engineers engaged with the institution as well. Yeah, so this works out very well for us because I got Fred to do a presentation for the IMechE, so which is a big tick in the box for him.
Definitely, yeah. And I can see you've got 2 things that are coming up this year. So STEM in the Park at Crawley and the Goodwood Festival.
Yes.
Do you want to just briefly say what they are and how people can get involved?
Yeah, so we're still at the planning stage. So we have actually a meeting this weekend to discuss on those events. So if anyone wants to help or participate, just get in touch with the Kent Area Committee. And so we're still in the planning stage, but we're not quite sure what we're going to do yet. So that's still in the planning stage. So if anyone does want to get involved and help, then just please get in touch with us.
Brilliant. Thank you. Well, they sound very exciting anyway. That sounds great. Brilliant. Thanks, Khosrow. So in your Southeast region, you've given examples of where you've done stuff in schools and done interactive activities in schools, through to doing stuff not related to schools at all, but outside of school, and getting young people involved and young members involved, which supports their development as well. So absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing all that. All right, we're going to move on to another REO. So we have got Ron Faulkner. So Ron, do you want to come on and talk about the kind of things you've been doing in your region?
Yes, I'm focused on basically photographs that I've got of some of the events we've been involved with. So this is a snapshot of some of the things which we've done sort of last year and what we're planning to do next year with STEM activities in schools. We looked for a big event, a key event during the year, and we were invited to a jamboree, a scout jamboree in Nantwich in the middle of the year. And it was a first opportunity for us to go and explore this. They built what was a science park, and within the science park they had a technology pavilion, and the theme of the week was something like space. So we thought we could put something together for that. During the week, we actually only attended the 2 days because short term we were testing it out. It was a pilot scheme for us. But in the 2 days that we were there, we had about 500 students, leaders, teachers, and parents pass through the pavilion. So it was a very busy time, as you can see, certainly from the first picture. We took 4 or 5 ambassadors there, and they all were kept very busy during the time. You can see the materials that we used. We took a 3D printer, with the space themed event, we took some of the construction activities out of the IMechE education pack. We did the moon rover and we did a ball run as key activities. And children of all ages, both cubs up to the scouts, came in, took interest, and had a good discussion, if you like, about the opportunities in engineering. So overall, from the ambassadors' side and from the organisers' side, it was considered a good success. So much so they've asked us to do something similar this year, and I'll come on to that. So
great,
that's a good one.
Fantastic. Shall I go to your next slide?
No, I'll just talk a little bit about Eisteddfod. One of the areas that I look after is North Wales, which is literally 50% of Wales. And there's an Eisteddfod activity goes on. And that's an 8-day event which celebrates, if you like, Welsh culture, the Welsh language, and etc. But they have a science park, and we took a pavilion with the IET and the ICE also. So 3 professional institutions working together. And there we actually run a daily design and build competition with prizes. And that seems to go down very well. We take other activities as well, but the main activity is a design challenge during the day. Also, in Wales, we work with the Engineering Education Scheme in Wales, ESW. That's an umbrella organisation that a number of PEIs work with, and we do various project challenges with schools during the year, and we use ambassadors to assess projects, and we bring all the shortlisted schools together and ambassadors to actually have a day together to have them demonstrate their projects on which they're scored, and then we have an award ceremony at the end of the day. So that's just a snapshot of what we've had last year. Have you got the next slide?
Yeah.
So what I'm just listing here are really school careers fairs. We've actually had 3 off already to date. So that they're half-day careers events, and we'll have more as the year goes on. And that's where we talk to students about career paths, opportunities, options, when they've got to make these sorts of decisions. But that's, I think, most areas, most regions will do those of different sorts. The ESW School Design Challenges, that will be ongoing during the year. We have a number of those, and we will do that. The Eisteddfod Science Pavilion is early August, with 8 days of activity. We will be there for 8 days, and we will have about 40 ambassadors requirement, and we'll run a shift system. And we typically ask ambassadors to be there for 2 days, and we'll be running design challenges. So if anybody is available August and they could speak Welsh, that would be brilliant. We also help with university careers days. We have started to get involved with the Raytheon Quadcopter Challenge as well. We run, or we support local area finals, and then there's a national final as well. That's a growing one for us, and we also expect to be in the Jamboree as well. So as you can see, there's a wide range of opportunities to help you inspire students and give them the advice they need, which they don't necessarily get in schools from parents. So that's a snapshot of what we do.
Thank you so much, Ron. There's absolutely loads in there, and that's really inspiring. Thank you. So plenty of opportunities to get involved in your region, which is Wales.
Wales and Merseyside.
Wales and Merseyside. Okay, great. So anybody,
which really goes around Preston, Warrington, Cheshire. You know, it's quite a big area. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So anybody in that area of the northwest and Wales can get in touch with you and get involved in some of this exciting stuff planned for this year. That's fabulous. Thank you, Ron. That's great. Okay, and we will come to John next to talk about what's going on in your region. Thanks, John.
Yes, thank you. The Midland region has for many, many years has been very, very strong on education, STEM activities. In fact, just under 50% of our total budget is destined for STEM and outreach and education. We run somewhere between 10 and 20 activities each year in the region. We do the school visits, but those are really the minority. We believe really that hands-on interactive activities are really what engages with children. And because of that, we are very much involved in open days, shows, exhibitions, anything like that. The bottom lower picture, sorry, the left-hand lower picture there is last year's Cosford Air Show. It's one of the largest air shows in the UK. And we had a stand there where we had two activities. Well, we had several activities going on, but two major ones. In the background, you can see the lad there he's just throwing a paper aeroplane, cardboard aeroplane. And the children, they make the aeroplanes, then fly them into targets on the ground. And in the foreground, you'll see someone operating a robot arm. Beautiful picture, because he's just knocked the cup and it's halfway falling. So excellent picture of that. And on that stand, we had around about 500 young people attend in the day.
Amazing.
Which is more than you would ever get trying to go into a school or doing it single-handed. And we were able to sort of engage with them and get them interested in what was happening there. We do have about 10 to 12 helpers, and they were all kept busy the whole day. The upper picture there is one of the other events that we've run at many, many places, and that's a bridge building competition, a challenge. They have to build bridges. Well, we talked to them first about bridge design and construction and give them ideas of how bridges are built in the real world. And then they build the bridge using lolly sticks and matchsticks. Once they build them, we put them on a rig, which you can see there, which we then test to destruction. And they see just how strong they are. And they really love that. It gets a bit of a challenge. If you take it into schools, you know, they're all competing against each other. If we take it into shows, then we do have prizes for the strongest bridge at the end of the day. Got a lot of activities going on. In just a couple of weeks' time, we've got the Robot Day at Coventry, which is another big exhibition. That's it's jointly run by IET and IMechE and various other organisations, a whole load of people involved. And next slide then, please. On the picture there on the left again is one of the shows that we were attending. You can see the high number of people that get involved. Again, we look for a lot of volunteers from the region. They don't have to be STEM ambassadors. They don't have to have any checks on them. Because it's an open exhibition, anyone can volunteer and come along and help out. And we are always looking for volunteers there. One of the other things we tend to do, we've done this for several years now, the other picture there is what was then called the fan boat program. We work with Caroline Allison, who's on the bottom right of the picture there, who runs Technology for Fun. And what we do there is we get volunteers from the region to come along to a training session. And we train them how to build those fan boats using very simple components. And then they each take that into a school, and we pay for all the kits that go into the schools. And they run this training for classes normally of about 30 or so. So again, we get to quite a large outreach. We have about 10 or 12 trainees on the session, and they each go into a school. So we're talking about 350 pupils that we interact with on that occasion. Last year, we ran it slightly differently, and we're doing the same this year. We're doing a training session with combined teachers and engineers, and it worked very well last year. And we've gotten a contact through one of the teaching organisations. So not only do we train the engineers how to build the FAMPers, we train the teachers as well. So hopefully it'll be an ongoing program with them. They will work with the engineers on the first year, and then maybe after that they can go on and run the programs themselves. Again, we fund the kits there, so you know, we do a lot of interactive activities, and that's our main area really. Right. So what do STEM ambassadors do? Well, they inspire the next generation. But what else? What do STEM ambassadors do? Well, they have fun, and that's really what it's about. And I think all the people that have come on these training sessions and all the people we have that come to these shows and exhibitions, they really enjoy it, and many of them come back time and time again. So if you want to get involved in that, you know, get in touch with us, and we'll put you in on the next show.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you so much, John. So loads of great stuff there. That's really excellent. Thank you so much for all of your different ideas, for all the 4 REOs that have told us about all the different things they're doing, from actually going into school classrooms at all different ages through to becoming governors, judging university competitions, getting involved in scouts and beavers and cubs and brownies, through to, you know, local community groups, through to air shows and big events locally that are happening where the IMechE can be represented, and you can get involved so that you can be part of that and benefit from it yourself, as well as inspiring your local community and the next generation. I'd love to hear from people in the audience. So out of all the stuff you've heard from the 4 REOs, what kind of stuff have you been involved with? If you are, I think 50% of you out there are already STEM ambassadors. Put in the chat or put your digital hand up and tell us what kind of stuff have you been involved with as STEM ambassadors. And I'd be really interested to know how you feel you have benefited as well, so that we can kind of reinforce that message that, yes, this is definitely about inspiring the next generation, but it's also about us getting benefits ourselves as well. So feel free to put in the chat if anyone else out there who's in the audience has been involved with STEM outreach. What kind of stuff have you done? Feel free to either put your digital hand up or put it in the chat so we can hear from you. If anybody's brave enough to tell us what they've been doing, I'm sure some of you out there have been, because if you're a STEM ambassador, I'm sure you've already been doing some stuff. So let us know. For me personally, what I do in STEMAZING is it's very much focused on schools. So we go into primary schools, we run interactive activities, and the IMechE, I can see Jelena's put that in the chat in there, the link to ambassador resources. The IMechE has got a whole host of amazing resources that you can tap into for running practical activities. And thanks, Jelena, I can see you put in the chat as well, the link to the contact details for the regional education officers. So you can find out who your local regional officer is, and ping them a message and ask how you can get involved in what's going on in your region. Okay, anybody want to volunteer what they're getting involved with? Or have we got a lot of shy people on the call tonight? Can't see anybody's got their digital hand up at the moment. There we go. Thank you for putting some stuff in the chat. So Harry said, looking to get involved in after school STEM clubs, Lego clubs, forest school. Yes, absolutely. So locally, I've been involved in some of those things, and you can either do it through, if you contact your REO and find out if they're doing anything like that, or if you are already a STEM ambassador and you've got your DBS checks, you can approach your local schools, you can go through your regional STEM learning hub. There's lots of ways you can get involved. We've got Amit has said, during lockdown, I produced a short video, answered questions about my work as an engineer. As a follow-up, I wrote an article for Catalyst magazine. Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. yeah, we didn't talk about kind of getting in media and being a visible role model through that. So that's great. Megan has said, I've helped organise the interns' apprentices at my company to create STEM activities that are then used by volunteers. Fantastic. Yeah, so through your company, if there are STEM outreach sort of coordinated activities you can get involved with, that's a brilliant way to get involved. And if there aren't, then you can start something. You can raise the idea, and through the help of your REO and the IMechE, you can get your company more involved. It's a really rewarding thing to do. Thank you so much. That's great. Brilliant. So you've answered my question already, because you've come up with some other ideas that we didn't even bring up from the REOs of ways that people can get involved in STEM outreach, which is fantastic. And if you are one of those that said you are not yet a STEM ambassador, but you want to be, or you're sort of still on the fence and thinking about it, hopefully we've persuaded you that it's a fantastic thing to do for yourself, for your career, for your community, for the next generation. Really, really rewarding and fun, as John said. If you click on this link, which I've put on the slide here, maybe Jelena can put it in the chat as well, then you'll be able to see how you can become an IMechE STEM ambassador. You can also go to stem.org.uk, which is STEM learning, and you can create your profile on there and go through the registration process, which is very easy, only a few steps, and you can get your DBS check. So that's your check to make sure that, you know, you can prove to schools when you're going in person, when you're working with children, anybody who's vulnerable, that you've had your checks and you're appropriate safe person to work with children. So that's what that check is. So it's a very easy process to do. And once you're kind of in the community, if you like, once you're in the fold, you'll get lots of opportunities for engagement, and you can use the resources on the IMechE website. You'll have even more resources as well through the STEM learning website. And there are lots of other partners and ways you can get involved as well, which we will go on to next. But if anybody is having any trouble with this, with signing up, registration or anything, I would suggest you reach out to Jelena. I hope that's okay, me volunteering you to help Jelena with that. If you've got any trouble, any problems with the IMechE STEM ambassador registration process, or any questions or anything, because we would really love to have more of you sign up. As Jelena said, that community of 10,000 IMechE STEM ambassadors is just incredible to be a part of that. All right, and there are other sort of support networks that you can get involved with and resources. So as we've already said, absolutely, the REOs are just really lovely, kind, patient people. So reach out to them and they will be there to help you if you need anything. And it's lovely to have a local contact, you know, geographically in the UK, that is, that you can reach out to for actually going in person to events, which, you know, gives you a real buzz. The IMechE has this amazing resource of the STEM at Home toolkit that is free. You can go and request as an IMechE member. It's a fantastic perk where you can go and you can request that a kit of resources that you can actually use in schools to run some of the IMechE activities, the practical activities. So you have everything you need, the instructions, you know, all of the resources, the things you need, like straws, dowels, all the things you need to do a whole set of activities in there. So there's quite a few of them. It's absolutely brilliant. I've got one of those and I've used it with schools locally. And there's also other pre-prepared material out there if you like. So even if you're going to just do a talk or a presentation, don't feel you have to start from scratch. There are lots of things out there that make your job really easy to inspire and engage others. So make the most of that. And on the Neon Futures website, Tomorrow's Engineers, then you've got loads of fantastic ready-made resources that you can use. And you can sort of adapt those and tailor it to your particular message or your area of engineering or experience. But there's loads of great stuff there. So don't feel you have to start from scratch. And also, this is another link that you can follow, where there are sort of like approved partners with the IMechE that you can work with and get involved in a whole host of different engaging and inspiring stuff through partners of the IMechE, like Primary Engineer, for example. You know, loads of amazing UK-wide activities that you can get involved with, inspiring not just primary school age kids, but all age of students and young people. And I think STEMAZING is on there as well. So my not-for-profit is on there. We do focus on women in STEM and engineering. So our training and development and activities are about getting more women role models in front of young people. But we would, you know, we're definitely open to any of you who are women engineers getting involved in STEMAZING as well. All right, fabulous. Is there anything more that any of our REOs want to make? Any final points or comments that you want to make that you don't feel that we've covered already? Or Jelena, have you got any final points? And I would love for the audience to put any questions you've got at all. Please put them in the chat, or put your digital hand up and we can come to you.
So yeah, I think I would just say thank you to our regional education officers for taking the time to join today's session. Of course, thank you to everybody that has joined, and to invite you to ask questions. This is really what we're here for, and now is the opportunity to ask anything. Understand often it's a little bit overwhelming. There is so much information, there's so many different options. It's such a broad plethora of opportunities, but I think that is also the beauty of it, that everybody will have something that is suitable for them, depending on their experience, what they enjoy doing, their personalities, also how much time they can devote to it. And I think our REOs have really illustrated well some of those opportunities. So if you're not sure what to get involved with, the starting point from an IMechE perspective would be to go and speak to your regional education officer. Every region has one in the UK, to see what's going on within the community. If there's nothing suitable at that time, then perhaps our partners page, and these are partners that the institution is supporting from a strategic perspective. So we've done all of our due diligence, and it's in line with what we're trying to achieve and work towards to make more of an impact. I would also like to say, for our international members, I appreciate that a lot of this information has been very UK specific. I understand STEM Learning or such an organisation doesn't exist outside of the UK, but there will be a lot that you can take away with regards to opportunities and things that you can do within a local setting, whether it's going to your local schools, using some of the resources that are available, downloadable. And I think it's the question of sort of tailoring it to suit what's appropriate to you. So I think
Absolutely. Thank you, Jelena. Yeah, no, that's a really, really good point, actually, how the variety of stuff, so totally depending on where you feel your strengths lie, what kind of age group you want to interact with, you know, through to what Alex was saying about being a kind of grey hair expert, you know, almost like grilling some of the students about their dissertations at a much higher level, through to doing really like almost like silly fun stuff that's really you know, at the opposite end of the spectrum with like infant school, primary school age children. So there's a whole host of stuff that you can do depending on where you feel comfortable and where your strengths lie. We've had a question in the chat. Thank you, Oliver, who said, hi all, thanks for an amazing presentation. What is the cost to become a STEM ambassador? So it's completely free, which is brilliant.
Yeah, there is no cost, and we would strongly recommend anybody in the UK that wants to get involved in outreach that you go. It would take literally minutes to register as a STEM ambassador on STEM Learning, stem.org.uk. They do your criminal records check, and what's also important is when you're going to do an outreach session, for example, in a school, they have insurance that will cover you, and it's just all the due diligence, and we would recommend that this is the process that you follow. It will take a couple of minutes of your time, and give you complete peace of mind, as well as there's lots of resources available there that you might find useful as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So the cost of the DBS check is covered by STEM learning. So there is a cost if you were to do that separately, independently, but STEM learning cover that. So if you go through STEM learning, your DBS check costs are covered. Oliver has also asked about, is there any expenses towards travel for going to schools and things like that? So I don't know about local REOs where the budget can support people getting involved in certain events. I don't know if Jelena or one of our REOs wants to mention.
Probably depend
Can I?
on the specific activity. Go ahead, John.
So I was going to say, for some of the events we run as a region, because it does involve travel, we will cover the travel costs for them. But quite honestly, everybody who goes enjoys it so much that very rarely anyone has claimed any travel. They just don't want to. They've just enjoyed it. But for some of the events, yes, we as a region will cover travel, but don't take that globally, because that's purely our region.
Yeah. And I think you've said before, John, that actually getting access to events like the Cosford Air Show is amazing, to get in there without having to pay.
Well, when you think it's probably about £50 or £60 entrance fee for that, and they get in for free and go and see the Red Arrows for free, that's
amazing.
I think they'd waive their car travel expenses then.
Yeah. Brilliant. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for attending. As I said, we've got a whole series of training sessions. We're going to cover lots of different topics. So we'll build on what we've covered today and give you lots more inspiration and sort of equip you to make you feel really confident and empowered as a STEM ambassador and as a visible role model for the IMechE. So thanks so much for everyone attending, and hopefully see you at our next webinar next month.